hello. I've got something on my heart today. And I really feel like sitting somewhere. Let me see where I can find a spot to just join with you. Today it's about, I feel like really speaking on the idea of fantasy. Fantasy, imagination. Specifically when it's something that we are excited about, something we feel a pull towards, something we feel an attraction to, whether it's a person or, I don't know, like we're applying for something and we know we want to go there, we want to be accepted there, it could be a university, could be writing a book and you want to get it published and you're sending things out. And so all of this going into a team, really the content doesn't matter. What matters is where the mind is at, where we find ourselves at in expectation of something that's coming for us, that's coming towards us, because we feel the call towards it. And yet we can get caught up. The mind, the ego, will latch on, and it's beautiful to want things. It's not a bad thing. It's just reflecting a desire, a deep desire for something. And if you have been with me on this page, I say page, I mean channel, long enough now, you know that I am a Course in Miracles Forever student and facilitator now, teacher of A Course in Miracles. Maybe I can sit here and hold on. And what I'm feeling is that, like, okay, right, I was saying about A Course in Miracles, right? What is happening is that we have a deep desire that is always navigating, always like it's our internal compass. It's always leading us to the next thing. And spirit is completely in tune, tuned in and connected to this, what your truest desire is, what your deepest desire is. We may have ideas of what that looks like on the surface, right? Like, oh, the music career or the management role or this person, my future wife, or whatever it may be, becoming a pastor. It could be within like the spiritual, right, world. It could be going into community, moving to a certain city. Like there's so many ways, right? There's so many things that our heart pulls towards in the form, but underneath is a deep desire. And the deepest desire is to know God, is to know love, like like to have an experience, a real experience of what God's complete, whole, eternal, pure, ever expanding love is. Have that pour over you. That is our greatest desire. Doesn't matter if we're an atheist or a super strong believer, fundamentalist believer. Everybody. It doesn't matter what we call ourselves. It doesn't matter what we believe ourselves to be, if we call it God or not. It's not about the thing, the name of the thing. It's about the thing. We all seek that belonging. We all seek that wholeness, that completion. And that ultimate completion is only done through reaching that full union with God, which is who we are, which is our highest self, our highest version. And yet, as we heal and as we walk this path, there are different things in our 444, as I say that, there are different things that show up for us, right? As lessons, as carrots on the path in the form, right? A relationship, a career, or a community, so many things, a book that we're going to write. And these things are all things that are part of our script. We all have different scripts. The scripts are written, and Spirit is stepping into the script and saying, give the script to me. Give it to me. Because if you truly want to heal, you really truly want to know yourself as a child of God, of love and light, give it to me. And the part where we struggle, and I find myself here, and this is why it's so present right now, is getting lost in the fantasy, getting lost in the possibilities, getting lost in, I had this feeling of something, it was a yes, kind of like my moving, you get this feeling and it feels like a yes, it feels something intense, and it could be a guidance there, sure, but you don't know how it's going to turn out. You don't know when. You don't know what is the best way that is meant for you, for your heart to expand. You don't know. Spirit knows. God knows what is best for you. What is going to take you closer to the light? What is going to, yes, fulfill your heart, and at the same time lead you beyond, to take you closer to him, to her, to the state of absolute love, to the state of absolute forgiveness and entire healing, right? So these are like seeming steps that then unravel to get to know ourselves truly. But it's a challenge, especially if you're like, there is something here. There's something here and I feel it. And then you just want to know more. You want to, and there's like this lack of trust, right? There's this, wanting a confirmation, and there's nothing wrong with that. Spirit works with that, right? Like, this is why I try to go into like the story of what I'm going through, or what I see others going through, or because it's in the specifics where we help and learn each other. It's in the specifics that we can reflect ourselves to each other, right? We can really deeply connect and learn together. And this is how we see that we are actually walking together. And so, yeah, it was just basically like realizing that fantasy, and I call it fantasy because it lives in the future. It lives in the mind. It's not what's here. Salvation, the present moment, the portal to peace is right here. It's in being here. Even if it's here like, oh, interesting, look at these thoughts that are coming by. That's a very different thing than me latching onto those thoughts and then getting lost in them, and getting lost in the fantasy, and getting lost in the expectation and the possibility. Because I'm no longer in that presence, in that state where I am the holder and container of all that comes up, whether it's in front of me or it's in my mind. Because all of it is still part of the projection experience. All of it is still part of the human matrix, so as to say, it's part of the dream, mental, internal, or external. And so to be present with it intentionally, whether it's showing up for me in front of me, or because I'm starting to think things and, whatever, distracting thoughts or doubts, limiting beliefs. If I have the awareness, the mindfulness to be like, look, this is coming up, kind of like a meditator, right? But this is something we're doing as we're walking throughout life, as we're dropping our kid off from school, as we're doing the dishes, not just as we meditate. The idea is not to do it in a certain space. It's to use your mind goes with you everywhere. It is literally the the projector of all of it. So like, it's where everything starts. And if we don't have that, we don't take a step back from what is moving in front of us, right? From what is showing up, then we get caught into it. And it's okay to get caught into it. This is not to add more guilt, right? This is not what we're here for. We're not here to fall into another trap of the ego by falling into the ego's trap, and now I feel worse because I did it, and because I'm on the spiritual path, and because I want to follow Spirit's guidance. No, that's not what we're here for. We are here to be honest. We are here to look at ourselves. We are here to hand it over. And so that's what this video is about. It's about, there's nothing wrong with fantasy. There's nothing wrong with going into imagination when you really want a thing, when you feel this pulling desire. It can be obsessive. But the most helpful thing is to realize this is where I am right now. This is what I'm believing in. This is what I'm really wanting. I don't even know if it's true. I don't know how this is all going to turn out. And I'm getting caught up in the form. I'm getting caught up in the thing. And I know that you know what's best for me. And so that fantasy is a call to hand over our desires to Spirit, to hand over those, deep longings, or whatever showing up in front of us that's triggered something, that's activated, right? That's maybe taking over that. Just like every time it comes up, use that mindfulness, not just to watch it go by, because that might not be enough in the moment. 11:11, it might not be enough. It's saying, angels, help me be mindful. And when I'm mindful, I hand it over. I give this to you. I know that you know what's best for me. God, you handle this. You know what my heart desires. You can see it, but I know that you know. You ultimately know what my heart truly longs for. And you ultimately know the form that it has to come, and the way, and the time. And so I trust your divine timing. I trust that this is all for me, including my obsession, including me getting caught up, including me getting lost in fantasy. I trust that it's all for me so that I could be led here to this video, so that I could look at myself and see that I don't have to have guilt about fantasizing, but I can take it as a sign, right? As a flag that there's something here that I truly want, or that I believe I truly want, and I can hand that over. That belief, that fantasy, I hand it over to you, and you do with it. Let your will be done. And let me come back to this moment, to this what's in front of me. Let me bless whoever shows up for me, so that I'm not caught up in this and what's working out with this and what's not working out. The signs that are showing up, the things that are saying, oh no, whatever it is, because we can really get caught up in how things are turning out or not turning out, and miss the miracle in front of us, because we're here to be miracle workers. Sorry, I'm gonna get emotional. And there's so many ways to get distracted from the miracle, but the miracle is available everywhere. It's everywhere. But we have to be open. We have to release what's showing up in the mind. We have to take the step, the intention. And we are not alone. Spirit is here to hold us, to guide us, to support us, to say, all is well. Just don't forget that I'm here. Just don't forget that I am guiding you. Do you trust me to know what will fulfill your heart? Do you trust me to take care of it? I always have, and I will continue to do so. And I will also be here and invite you to things that will heal your mind, that will take you back to realize where you've disconnected, where you've stepped off the path, right? Where you've missed the mark, specifically with this or with that. And all of it is still a greater plan to bring you back to me, to this love, unconditional, forever present, here to purify, remind you of who you are, so that you may shine your light, whether it's to this person who's accepting your book or not, whether it's to the hospital because you have symptoms in your body, whether it's to a relationship or somebody that you're breaking up with, it's not working out, whatever it is, but you can be the miracle. You hold the space for the miracle in all of these contexts because you trust. You're in a state of what I believe in and what I'm caught up in. Maybe this actually helps me. This is a little tip. It helps me when I'm getting caught up in something. And I did this with the apartment too, and with the move, with the potential move that I may move from city, you know. It was just like, yeah, this may work out for me and it may not. Yeah, this house may work out for me and it may not. Yes, this relationship may work out for me and it may not. And it's like, it brings you back into this state of neutrality, of radical acceptance, you know. That's how I feel. Yeah, this publisher may work out for me and it may not. And it's like, okay, that's okay. I don't need to know. I don't need to know because my trust is greater. Because my desire to be a miracle worker is greater. My desire to heal my mind is greater. My desire to shine my light and to help others and to serve this world is greater. And all the things will line up around it. The relationship will line up around it if it's for me, if it's meant to, right? The book will line up with the publisher that it's meant to. The application will go and be accepted for those who it's meant to. And it may not. But we can rest in knowing that it will go where it's meant to. That's it. Talk about deep trust. Talk about true confidence. I feel like, you know, like trust and confidence are like one and the same. If we are in deep trust, then our confidence is not shattered. If we are like, if I know who I am, it automatically brings out conviction and confidence. And if I know that Spirit has got me, and I am not, and I release the attachment to how it's going to look, who it's going to be with, where it's going to go, where I'm going to move to, if I just release, because it may happen, but it may not. And that's okay too. It's like coming to that place. It helps me journal. I don't know I would invite you, if that's something that's like really coming up on your mind, journal it out. Like list it out, the things that you're expecting, that you're attached to, that you feel like you can't stop thinking about, whatever it is. And remind yourself, yes, it may happen, and it also may not. And how many things have we already had happen in our lives that we thought would happen and they didn't? And we're here. We're here. We're having the experience we are now. Where we're supposed to be now. And many things, thank God they didn't happen. And other things, it was like, okay, that didn't make sense until later. I see why that didn't happen. Or I absolutely understand why that did happen. Hindsight is 20/20. But Spirit has got pure vision of all of it, right? And so our job is to step back, look at our mind, hand it over to Spirit and say, I trust in this, in whatever is for me. I will not get caught up in the form. You lead the way. And I will just hold space for the miracle, for this moment, for my own healing. That's my job. That's our job, folks. It ain't easy, but we're brought to surrender. We're brought to these moments. We're brought to maybe videos like this. We're brought to a companion. We're brought to our knees, whatever it may be, so that we can remember this. We are taken care of. Love is always waiting to support us. Let's all remember that today. To support us, to guide us, to heal us. Thank you, familia, for being here, for joining me. And yeah, Until the next one, we're together in this.